Right. Right. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Let's start from the beginning again. So, I was talking about why I am doing this stream. So, this is not a financial advice, or this is not any kind of what you call any kind of persuasive content that makes you to trade, right? This is basically for I'm doing for myself, only for myself, and I'm reminding myself the theoretical content that is related for all the retail traders, or the most of the retail traders that who follows for fundamental analysis in their trading, day-to-day trading. So in this process, right, in this video series, so live broadcast is I'm planning to do it every day from London session to the end of the New York session, and there might be some gaps. And talking about the major framework I'm following in here is I will do the market recap, what happened in the previous day in the beginning of the market, and I will go through the uh, very high impact and important news events, and I will do fundamental analysis on the major eight currencies I am uh, trading on, right? After that I will if there is a trading opportunity I will take it, or else I will let that day go without a trade. So one thing I'm now following is not trading is also a win, right? These markets are very choppy, and these are not designed for people who wants to become rich quicker. So these markets should be handled very patiently, right? And so previously I had lost my patience. That's why I'm doing this live stream, so I can't trade on my emotions. So I need to be rational. I need to focus on my framework. I need to always see if my checklist, if my catalyst is perfectly aligned with the trade. So only if the setup is fully functioning, I will execute a trade. So here I need to do a small shout out for Arno Wittner, the owner of this Capital Edge server. So this is kind of I myself I myself define this as a mini Bloomberg version, because this has a quite lot of information and data. So I'm also developing my dashboard for Forex Compass. So this also has some key features that is available in this also, but this Arno's dashboard is quite um, advanced, and a lot of paid resources are used here. So in my terminal I also use paid APIs, but still not up to the standards. I'm doing continuous refreshments, continuous updates, continuous adjustments that I feel as a retail trader that this feature should be available in my dashboard, and I'm planning to release this to the community as well if someone is interested. Of course it will be for a subscription, like not the high-end subscription, but a small subscription level, around maybe 30 to $40. Maybe I'm not 100% sure about that at the moment, so let's see. Okay, so I will start. So since I was a little bit late to this stream today, I will start with something important that I missed because I was sleeping at that moment. So to show you, right, to show you one thing I like my dashboard to analyze the data. The small problem is like the data takes a little bit longer to update in this dashboard because the API I'm using it like from that their end I'm using EODHD's API. They mentioned that it takes like quite a lot of time to update the servers from their side. So mostly I don't get the data on time in this dashboard still. So in case like I'm planning to uh, what you call sell this as a subscription, and if I get enough subscribers for this, I will totally pour all the subscription money into this dashboard to get a stream, new stream, and to get the Bloomberg or Refinitiv data stream access. So if the contribution of the subscribers increase, I will be able to do it very soon. So otherwise it will take some time to do it by myself, because like as you guys know, Bloomberg or the Refinitiv data source, it costs around 25,000 USD per annum. So it's for at this point for me it's quite a huge amount to invest. So I will without further ado, I will jump into the most important thing I was planning to talk about. It is the I can go it from here. So calendar, today we had Australia right here. This is the most important thing I was planning to talk, and I was planning to execute a trade on this, but unfortunately I was sleeping at that time, like 3:30 in the morning. Right, I was sleeping at the time, so I missed this trade. It was a quite decent print. I will go through this data print. First of all, I will do a small what you call a small brief about this news event. So as you guys know, uh, Reserve Bank of Australia, right? Reserve Bank of Australia is uh, I will do it like this. So I will go to this bank profile and show you with detail, right? So the mandate, the Reserve Bank of Australia's goals are to ensure currency stability, maintain full employment, and promote the economic prosperity and welfare of the Australians. So here you can see they have a specific mandate on maintaining full employment, right? Just keep this in mind. I mentioned this for a reason, right? And with that, I will go to the latest economic projection for May. Let me see if they have the. Usually, they have most of the central banks have their projections for the coming quarters and coming year. Right. So they should have a table. I remember one central bank didn't have their table like here we have. Right, here we go. So the May forecast of RBA, or the Reserve Bank of Australia, was they were expecting slightly drop in slightly increase in the unemployment rate by the end of December this year, and compared to last year they were expecting a small drop in June compared to December, and slightly increasing until June 2028. This is basically because they were they were not planning to move into a monetary policy easing stage. They were more focusing on controlling the inflation by increasing the interest rates. So with that reason, their surveys or their economists predicted, or the economists forecast that the inflation would unemployment rate would increase in the coming 2-3 years, right? So remember this number also, 4.2 and 4.3 by the end of 2026 and 4.4 by June 2027, right? Now let's move on to the data and see how or what we got, right? Right, so here we have got 4.5, right? The markets were expecting 4.2 and 4.3, 4.4, like the markets, like most of the participants, right? Capital Econ, Bank of America, Westpac, right? JP Morgan, HSBC Holdings, UBS, everybody were having in a range of 4.2 to 4.4, right? Only two people were expecting 4.4 and two people were expecting 4.2. So generally the most, if we put this into a curve, right? If we put this into a curve, I would slightly consider this 4.2 and 4.4 as outliers. So it was like this, right? Majority of the people were in between 4.3, like they were expecting 4.3, which is the previous data. So for surprisingly, this data print came 4.5, right? Came 4.5, which means, right? Which means the data is currently sitting above a level that the RBA was expecting, right? Not even expecting on June 2027, right? This is a kind of a serious situation, right? So there's one more important point for those who doesn't know about the unemployment data, how we trade with unemployment data of Australia. So basically we don't just look at the headline print, right? We don't look at the headline print, we always look at the subprints also. Here we usually get full-time employment and also a part-time employment, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, right, here we go. Yeah, here we get the part-time employment change and the full-time employment change, right? Yes. I'm a little bit confused why the part-time employment change is not mentioned in this calendar. Anyways, so generally we always look at the employment, full-time and part-time employment changes also, and not just only the headline print. So here I will quickly go through this data print and afterwards explain why we are looking at these subprints, right? So here unemployment rate was 4.3 and it came as 4.5. It is a huge miss, right? Huge miss across the board. And as you can see, the full-time employment, the revised value was 63,400 and it is dropped to minus. Participation rate is slightly okay, so 0.1% drop. I personally don't consider it as a huge point to consider. If it generally I consider if there is a zero point 0.2 or 0.2 plus change difference in the participation, like mostly reduction of the participation rate, then I will be more concerned about the data print, because these are survey data, right? So the participation is very important in this kind of news events. Right, back to the explanation of this data print. So I will get my paint and I will get something, right? So this is the scenario, right? When trading unemployment rate in Australia and Canada, right? AUD and CAD, we always get the full-time and part-time change, right? This is very important because there are a few scenarios we can trade for trade AUD with this kind of data. So the first scenario is very simple. We get increase in the full-time employment and part-time employment, which results in lower unemployment rate, right? Lower unemployment rate, right? You know, full-time employment increases and part-time employment also increases, which means the labor market is doing well. And the unemployment rate is the number of people, like the percentage of number of people who doesn't have jobs, doesn't, right? Negative. So when we get positive changes, the unemployment rate drops, which resulting in AUD or CAD strengthening, right? The second scenario is full-time employment drop, part-time employment drop, and the unemployment rate increases. The direct opposite of the first scenario. Here also very simple, AUD and CAD drop. I mean, like AUD and CAD means if the AUD data comes negative, AUD becomes negative, CAD data becomes negative, CAD becomes negative. So that's a simple scenario. And here we come a little bit complex scenario, but still it's not that much complex. It's also simple. It's like this, right? We get the unemployment rate, right? We get the unemployment rate increased, decreased, right? Decreased, but because of the higher number of part-time employments, and we get lower number of full-time employments. So if we trade just only looking at this headline print, right? We see headline print, unemployment rate dropping. It will cause, like, then we will enter into AUD shorts, and you might experience that Australian dollar is not strengthening, right? Sorry, we are entering into AUD longs, and you will experience that Australian dollar is not strengthening. It's because of this subprint, right? The rationale behind this scenario is step is usually a company focuses on full-time employment when an economy is stable and economy is growing. So if we see the part-time employment number is increasing compared to the full-time employment, right? Part-time number of part-time employment is increasing and full-time employment is decreasing. It signals us something is happening in the economy which the companies are not comfortable enough to offer a permanent contract for an employee. So as you know, if a company is offering a permanent contract, the company should give incentives, they should pay paid leaves, bonuses, uh, most of the time permanent contractors salaries are increased, so there are like, and they need to handle uh, legal side as well, labor laws, labor union stuff. So it's a very expensive process of hiring a full-time employee rather than hiring a part-time employee or contract. So if a company, like if the majority of companies are like refusing to hire full-time employees, uh,
Manufacturing forecast 51, client 51.4, services forecast 47, client 46.9,
1 second, we are getting
forecast 48.5, client 48.4.
we are getting German PMI, French PMI. It's a huge miss across the board. I'll come back to it, finishing the scenario. So what we are talking was, if a company, if the majority of the companies are struggling or are refusing to hire full-time employees, right? As as fundamental analysts, we should be concerned. Now the companies have some fear of recessions or any kind of market uncertainties, and that's why they are not focusing on full-time employment hiring. So if we see such a scenario, most of the time, not 100%, like these markets are very unpredictable. We can't stick to a theoretical framework. So we need to adjust our framework according to the data prints and according to the market condition, the regime changes and geopolitical situation. So we have to change our trading frameworks accordingly. So in case we see this kind of a print, full-time employment dropping, and part-time employment increasing and resulting in the headline print unemployment rate headline print dropping, we don't I personally don't trade like I don't focus on AUD longs, right? And in the same time we get the other print, full-time employment increases, right, and unemployment rate drops while part-time employment reduces, right? This is also I consider as a kind of a good data print like this one, right? So the number of part-time employment is dropping while full-time employment is increasing, which results in low unemployment rate, which means indirectly the companies are hiring more full-time employers rather than part-time employers, which gives us an idea about the economy, that economy is doing quite okay. So these are the four scenarios we trade, right? Uh, for Canada and Australia, this structure is very important, right? Always don't forget this structure, these four scenarios. If you can understand these scenarios, you can, I'm pretty sure you will be able to plan your trades according to the economic data that is released, right? So I will get back to the data print, right? So this now let's talk about the impact. So as you can see, you might if you were at that time on the desk or near a chart, you might see a huge drop in Australian dollar, as you can see here, right? Let's see the next most important thing. Now we know we had a good outcome, we had a catalyst. Now we have to execute a trade, right? So yesterday, right, until yesterday, most of the
Remaining argued with German manufacturing PMI.
we are getting the German manufacturing PMI. Let's see, is that also what are we going to get? We might get a chance to short euro against USD if I was looking to short USD, euro USD. One reason was the yield differential. It's very drastically dropping yield differentials, which shows still USD has some attraction. GBP also, I was looking to short around these levels, but I didn't have a good entry. Let's see, 2 seconds. 48.6 composite PMI.
Spot 9, 49.9, lower than forecast, 51. Composite 48.6, 48.6, higher than forecast, 48.5. And services 47.8, 47.8, higher than forecast, 47.
This kind of a mixed print, right? But still, I will consider this as negative for euro, right? So back to the Australian data. So as of yesterday, right, the markets were expecting like RBA, where is RB, right? One rate cut, full rate cut priced in uh, for this year, right? Month ago, actually, it was nearly two rate hikes. Now it's gradually decreasing to one rate hike, right? So June interest rate decision 21% of 21% of the participants were expecting a rate hike, while 79% was expecting hold. And in August, the more 47.4, generally 50% of the participants were expecting a rate hike, right? And it was 55.2% were expecting a rate hike in August, right? Now, after the unemployment rate data print, right, the probability of having rate hikes have reduced in a quite considerable amount of percentage value, right? So which makes us believe, or which makes us to look at the markets. Now the market participants are not not expecting the RBA to hike or increase the rates in the future, right? So generally, right, I will highlight another theoretical aspect of this thing, right? So when we are trading news events, we should know what would be the central bank's outcome after this decision, after the news data. So when an unemployment rate is increasing, right, it tells us that the job market or the labor market is not doing well in the economy, and the central bank's duty is to make this correct, bring the unemployment rate back to lower levels, and ensure that majority of the people are having jobs and their standard of living is well maintained. So what can the central bank do is simply plan a monetary policy easy, right, which means cutting their rates, right? If the unemployment rate is doing good and inflation is also increasing, then what the central bank can do is they can start the tightening policy to control the inflation, because they don't need to worry about the uh, inflation rates anymore, right? I will get you this. So as you can see, right, as you can see, now this is the last previous one. Now today's data is not still updated, so in case it's 4.5, right, it's similar to the data what we got in 2025 over October, right? And I think it's it's the second highest after 2021 December, right? So this is kind of a risky thing for the RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia. So they need to take actions to control this unemployment rate. So most of the time, I'm expecting to AUD get weaked, right? The reason for that is I will show you. AUD aggregate, right? Sorry. AUD aggregation with let me show you the positioning. Australian dollar forex. So still the non-retailers, non-commercials, commercials are still bullishly crowded, because right, this will be updated on next Friday. This is still because RBA was giving positive comments about holding or hiking the rates, right, because their inflation was increasing and the unemployment rate was also doing great. Last time it was 4.3, which was 4.2, jumped from 4.2 to 4.3, which also flagged as kind of a negativity in the labor market. And most of the time, like this, I personally feel like AUD is now overpriced, right? I will get you something also to show you for an example. I will get AUD AUD NSD is good, I think. Yeah, right. So I will show you something interesting. Before that, I need to show you this one also, right? So if we get the Australian general economic data, city economics index shows a -1, which is not good for an economy, right? Inflation expectations gradually increasing, and CPI inflation is also increasing. GDP was also doing okay. That's why the Australian dollar was strengthening, and now you can see the unemployment rate also increasing in a very fast pace, which is quite not good for the economy. So we will go through all the Australian dollar related pairs and see if we can see any mispricing of the currency, right? So this is the Australian dollar and against the CAD. First of all, I am not interested in trading AUD CAD higher or lower, because higher I don't want to trade, because AUD is not doing well from the fundamental economic perspective, and Canadian dollar is also not doing well. I will show you it in a bit later. So there's nothing much from 2-year yield differentials, 10-year yield differentials also nothing much. Inflation expectation, yeah, AUD CAD I don't think it's a good trade for us to trade. Both are negative. AUD CHF, see again CHF I don't like to trade, because CHF is a currency which the Swiss National Bank doesn't like it to be strong, so they might do interventions if they feel like CHF is doing well, right? AUD JPY is quite good. I like to short AUD JPY. There's a risk of JPY doing an intervention to strong the currency, which is also good for us. So if we get each of these technical indicators one by one, as you can see, two-year yield differentials is showing the price should be dropped. 10 yields differentials, usually we know, like 10-year yield shows the growth and the inflation of a country. So AUD JPY, like JPY shows much more growth compared to Australia. That's why AUD 10-year yield differentials is lowering, which suggests us, like it's not 100% always true, because you can see there have been a lot of downturns in the 10-year yield differentials, but the AUD JPY had continued to rise, right? It's so we can't blindly trade on these things, right? But what we can do is we can consider and see if the risks available, right? So two-year yield is much more like moving closer to the price section. 10 yields also, we can't just ignore it, right? As you can see here, yields are dropping and AUD JPY dropping. Yields are increasing, AUD JPY increasing. Yields are dropping, AUD JPY dropping, right? Here also the same scenario. This, I think this will be a reason to AUD JPY to go further low, and the inflation expectations also dropping, which means like Japanese inflation expectation is higher than the Australian inflation expectation. And real yield differentials also showing the same, which, and let me check, CESI, City Economic Surprise Index, is also showing some negative negative pricing for Australian AUD JPY, right? So from my point of view, I would consider AUD JPY as a good short opportunity, right? Good short opportunity, right? Right. Right. We need to do a technical analysis and see. So generally, I would consider this as a good trade, right? I'm not like putting unrealistic trade trade what do you call unrealistic profit levels. I want to just to see the implied volatility levels. So generally here we have lower highs building. So these highs must be protected if this trend is going to continue, right? So, right, this is my outlook for AUD JP5 for the AUD JP5 for the next couple of months. Next, we have AUD NECD, which I am strongly bearish, but I am very afraid of trading this because I had a couple of losses trading AUD NECD lower. As you can see, AUD NECD is having a huge rally to the upside, and yields are showing 2-year yields are showing now showing a small drop. I will drop it to 2 years. It's easy for me, right? And let's see, go into the 10 years, nothing much. Inflation expectation is quite good. ELD is also dropping. Yeah, city economic surprise, like from an economy perspective, the AUD signals as a good sell scenario, right? And the last, not but least, I know we have two more pairs, right? AUD USD. Oops, sorry. 2-year yields are showing a good sell. 10 years the same. Inflation expectation is not showing us something interesting. So out of 2 points and 1 against 3, let's see. AUD USD a good sell for me from a technical perspective, and I will mark it and I will show you how I am going to trade it. So this would be my short trade, right? I'm not executing this at this moment. Like, I will show you step by step. I'm just filtering the trade pairs that shows me good trade ideas, right? Next, Euro AUD. Euro AUD, we can see City Economics is showing Euro AUD to drop, which signals are something quite interesting. Why it's happening like this? Okay. Oh, it's the wrong indicator. City Economics. Yeah, City Economics shows us Euro is doing better compared to the Australian dollar, but it's also it's competitive, right? If we consider these economies like one by one, Europe is also not doing well. Australia is not, like, both are negative, but compared to those two, Europe is doing little bit okay compared to Australia. Real yields, inflation is not doing well. 10-year yields and 2-year yields both are not. This is not a good pair for me for a trade. Last, we have the GBP AUD. City Economics is showing something interesting, but personally I'm not that much interested because of the geopolitical political uncertainty happening in pound, but still okay. Real yields also showing something good. Okay, I will not consider trading GBP as GBP also at this point, right? So we looked at GBP, Euro, AUD, NZD, GBP area. So out of these 7 pairs, I got 2 pairs, AUD USD and GBP AUD. So here's a caveat, small caveat, trading AUD USD. As we know, USD was strengthened, right? USD was strengthened in the beginning of the Israeli attack, Israel combined attack on Iran. And with the safe haven characteristic, USD was strength. USD was strong. Sorry about my English. So USD was strong. So in case the second now you guys should know the last peace proposal was acknowledged by Iran, that they received the proposal from Iran, US, and in case both the all the three parties come to an agreement and end this war, this might result in USD weakness. Right? You might see a weakness in USD, and which would result in AUD USD moving higher, right? So I am not personally interested in holding a AUD USD sell position for a quite long time, right? I'm okay to do scalp trades, right? I'm okay to do scalpings. So I will look at these levels, right? Look at these levels, and might look at this level also as the ultimate take profit level, right? So my most interesting trade pair would be AUD JPY, right? Let's see another interesting point after the unemployment data, how the Australian yields have reacted. Okay, we are seeing some good rejections, and also these yield levels are not being taken out. Still, I don't think the people are pricing, or the money markets are pricing an interest rate cut. They are expecting a hold for the Australian dollar. It's fine actually. Like still we need a little bit of negative sentiment for Australian dollar. So I think this might work. Yes. So we can try an AUD JPY stop sell trade from this level, keeping the stop areas maybe about 113 or 114. Yeah, 114 would be quite good. Okay, so let's see. Now we are in the London session. So I will closely monitor if this will be my trading range for AUD and NZD. Or if I get a good correction, I will consider entering to AUD and NZD trade also. Yeah, at this point I'm not I am kind of interested in trading here. So let's see if we are getting more news events today. We are supposed to get EU PMI, GB PMI. Okay, let's see what are the high impact news. I will look at this. Yeah. Yes, today we don't have any more news events, so my main focus will be on shorting AUD Australian dollar. So I will use AUD USD for a scalp because USD pairs have more volume, compared to the other trade pairs. So I think we might get a chance to hop into a small short position in AUD USD. So small shout out. I have been building automated trading journal and this macro dashboard, and these both of these tools will be out. That automated trading journal will be out in June 6th. I will from the next tomorrow's next week live session onwards. I will show how I am utilizing this trading journal, right? Right. Uh, so I'm personally I'm not a technical analyst. Personally, I'm not a fan of technical analysts, but from the recent market movements, I felt like I should learn a kind of a systematic trading style, right? Systematic in the sense some kind of rules based trading system, because as you know, President Trump and Trump is like kind of a manipulative leader, which resulted me in losing a lot of money. So just following the fundamentals, right? So with that, I thought of I need a structured framework to trade in short, smaller time frames. So I need to do some self study about that. And yeah, so I'm not in an AUD USD trade at the moment. I need to open my today's peak and at where's my today's peak? Here we go. Today's peak, I need to reduce this to 2. Right here I will have AUD USD and AUD JPY. These two are my today's peaks, right? So here basically I will keep looking at this high will be my scalping stop area, right? Okay, I have got a good indecision candle following the I think we can try a small sell scalp in from these levels. Got rejected from this internal liquidity and following towards the external. So I will enter to a small sell trade targeting 1 to 2 hour. This might be a loss, but still I need to take the risk. I like the candle formation here. I got into a trade at the price of 7177173, and my stop areas is this level. If the price closes above this level, I will exit and wait and see if the price moves higher for these untouched liquidity levels. I entered to this trade because these liquidity levels were swept in smaller time frames, and the fundamental outlook is also still for bearish for Australian dollar. And my initial target is this low. If the price takes this low, and I will uh, I will break even the trade. Okay, I will let the trade run, right? But I will let the live also run, and I will be back in couple of minutes. Alright, traders. I I didn't place my stop loss just above this level. I just set an alert and I had the meeting to attend. So my uh, stop loss level was reached, but my trade is still running on a loss. So now I will close the trade manually in case the price goes above this level. Right. So now I'm currently in a loss. The reason I didn't place a stop loss above this level is this data. It's quite negative for Australian dollar, and I don't. The best stop loss level is this level. So in case if the entire movement is taken out, it signals us there's no point of holding this trade because of this fundamental data print, right? So, but I have a good feeling the price will reject now, right? So I'm in a loss. I'll show you here. This is my entry. I'm not sure whether you can see it. You can see it, right? You can see it, right? So my trade was not closed. So the trade history is also on live, right? Ticked open. In case this price goes above this level, I will close the trade. Yes. Right. Meanwhile, I have some couple of work to do. Uh, Alright, I will let this run. I will let this trade run, and I set my alert on above this wick at 15-minute wick. So if in case this price level is also taken out, I will close the trade and accept the loss. And in case this trade plays well, I will try to focus on uh, these levels too. Here, the first level is this. The next immediate level I will be focusing on will be this. In case this low is taken out with a good rejection, like good reaction, I will consider holding this trade few more pips. Once again, I should remind you, I'm not a fan of holding USD long trades for long period of time, right? Let's see if we can get into a UD JPY trade. That most of the right, we will see a UD and NZD, which I didn't take. Okay, we are getting some good correction movements. but it's if this candle 15-minute candle closes as a bear candle, I will we can have some good hope, good faith on the trade will run according to our plan. So to lock this trade, now I need to put a circle here. Circle is a point of execution, right? Need to right. Okay, let's see if the data will rule the market movement. If not, it's for bad. Not the bad analysis actually. It's this. I think I will consider this as a what you call. AUD is getting strong. I don't know why it's happening like this. And I will hold this trade until this entry level, yes, because I have a good thinking of the price will definitely come back down. So I set the stop loss just above this high. No, just above this high. Yeah, just above this high. In case the price takes the end like this high, I'm not interested in holding this trade anymore. So no point. Like, anyways, we should have an exit for every trade, each of the trades we take. So this is my exit level. So the market started the rally because of the bad unemployment rate, and if the markets are not focusing on that trade, that data print anymore, I consider like the price reaching the entry level has a signal that that data print is not valid in the market anymore. Maybe in the maybe in the next couple of few days with strong USD data or with other currencies getting strong, AUD will start getting weaker. Other than that, I have no appetite in holding this trade if the price go above this level. So I will lose in this trade. I will lose around something around 4K. So I'm fine with that, and I will target since this is my original like final stop loss level. I will try to target 1 to 2 risk reward on this level, and I will set couple of alerts to see if the price reaches any of these levels. I will put this one here. Right. So this is my final final trade setup. I will exit the trade around this high, like this is the entry point of the the data release pre release level, price level. So if this price is broken, I will close my trade, or else I will hold this trade and see how the markets are moving. Right. Same like that. I will see on AUD JPY if we get a good signal, sell signal. I will try to execute the sell. Let's see what's happening in the markets. Ooh. So we are seeing some strength in AUD. I don't know why, what the reason is, right? Maybe to get some good liquidity, maybe. All right. I have two more meetings to attend. I will let this trade run. I will set my stop losses above these levels so I can show you. Right. Pre above, just above the pre-event line, pre-event price level, and I haven't set my stop take profit levels still. I need to see, because I will be sitting in front of the desk for the most of the time. I might close the trades manually, right? So I'm not going to set up any take profit levels, just a stop loss level, because I'm going to the meeting right now. Okay, let's see. All right, then I will be back in the New York session, and I will start a new live session. I will not be closing this trade, and I will let this trade to hit the stop loss or the take profit level. I will not close in a loss unless it's taken by the stop loss. Okay, right? Then this is how I structure the trades, how I execute, how I manage the risk. So let's meet on the New York session. Today's boring, like no more trade events left for the day, but I will be back to see how the trade is played in the New York session, right? Okay, then hope you guys enjoyed this session and learned something. Yeah, let's meet in the next slide.